Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Maf Garage. In this episode, we start stuffing things in the Crustida. Okay, so we're going to stuff things in the Crustida, but two things first. First off, big shout out to Dave and Tyler, the boys at Overtaking Lane. Check it out all here. Go and watch them every Thursday night, guys. Awesome news stories and banter and trivia at the end. Win one of these yourself. So, by all means, hop over there. I'll put the link down in the description. But before I start putting things in Crustida, I've got one other thing I've got to do. And I'll show you. So we come down here, and I've actually got the seal primered. Now, as you can see along here, that's what I was talking about with the divots that were starting to occur. So it was like that whole section there, and as you go underneath, you can see a couple of paint drips, but it's pretty well covered. I couldn't get that little gash, and I'm not going to try and fill it up. I mean, I'll just cover it with the black. But everything else is good to go. So, I'll wax some black on this, and then pop the bonnet, and we'll start working out what path we're going to do with this. So there we go, ladies and gents. Nicely painted along. Haven't gone too far over, so I can just unmask it. Should be perfect. Oh, that was a bit of a worry then. But at least she looks good. Let's see that all the way along. Hell yeah. Alright, so we're in Crustida's engine bay for the first time properly. And as you can see here, we've got a whole heap of bolts and hoses and stuff. Now the reason for that is, well before I even thought of thinking of the Maf Garage, I let a friend try and help me out, and he claimed, oh, I can fix it and this and that. Next minute, I've got all these hoses and bolts and things cut left, right and centre. I swear to God, it wasn't me. Okay? But, long story short, I've got those issues as well as some outstanding issues in the motor. So for example, the water pump here, I'm pretty sure is cactus and will need to be changed. The alternator, I'm not very sure about. We'll check that out. But the other main things are to do with the piping here. Now, where the hole comes out, I've got no problem with. But it's this piping here, and as you can see on this side, I'm going to move the camera around, that was where it was earthing out before. So, we need to reroute this and move it in a different direction. So instead of it being a diagonal, I want it to come out straight a bit more, and then we can go vertical. So it'll be just like 90, 90, and then 90 into there. So it'll be down, down, and then across. And the big advantage of that is then I'll have the one diameter of pipe here. Because as you can see, steps from 3 inch down to say 2 3/4, and God knows how small it is in there. As far as I know, it is 3 inch there because the clamps and the hoses tell me so. But it's just that section around there. So I'm going to be changing that whole area. And then on this side, thanks to his ingenious work, he shoved these turbos on and didn't even put them onto the oil drain feeds. So I've got to take the oil drain feed off, and hopefully they're not bent or damaged or anything. It's the same thing over there. But take them off. Hopefully it's alright. Take these turbos off in the manifolds and start working out a new manifold system for the new twin turbos that'll be arriving, and work out piping into this hot side pipe And we have the same issue here where it goes from 3" but it looks like it steps down again. So I don't like that. I want the 1 diameter pipe all the way through. I mean, worst case scenario, I want to go 3.5 off a reducer or increaser, you know what I mean? But those are the main things there. I've also got to worry about things like the power steering hose and making sure that it's not leaking and it's working properly, no splits. And working out where all these connectors go. So I've got a couple of manuals and it'll tell me what I've got to do that way. The final piece of the puzzle that I've got though is the fuel injection here. So as you guys saw previously, put this vacuum hose back up. As you guys saw previously, I've got the stock injectors in there, and over there I've got the 840cc injectors. So we've got to take the fuel rail off, swap the injectors over. I'm going to take the plenum off here, and because it's a 2-stage manifold, we can really get at one point, like on the inner half of the manifold, and possibly clean up into here. Now, I'm looking at other options, possibly enlarging the holes, like using a Dremel and seeing what I can do. I've also looked at things like matching the manifold itself to the ports. So if there's any inconsistencies with the portholes, hit it with the Dremel too. So if it means I increase the port size a 1/10 of a mil, so what, you know, so be it. The final piece of the puzzle here with the fuel rail are the fuel lines. So as we all know, 1Js have this little fuel regulator just down here, and they can handle about 500 horsepower maximum. Now I've got an idea of what I want. The problem is I don't know if it's going to be the right path for this. So hear me out on this, guys. Going from the fuel tank all the way back there, I've got the twin lines that come up to a fuel filter down here. Then it goes from there into the fuel rails. What I'm trying to think of here is using a -8 all the way from the fuel tank to the pipes themselves, like to the fuel pump and filters and everything else, even into the fuel rail, so that there's a constant flow, there's no increases and decreases of pressure. And then up here along the firewall, I'll have to find a little bit of space to fit a fuel pressure regulator. So we're going to ditch the stock one there. That thing is going bye-bye as fast as I can throw it. And we're going to put something up here, and that way we've got an inlet or even 2 inlets and a nice return back into the tank. And even the return lines, I'm really umming and ahhing about things, so I'm thinking possibly a -6 for the return or -8, I'm not sure. But I also need on the other side, so we know about the turbo drain feeds, but we also need water feeds for the new turbos that'll be arriving. Alright, so I've just unbolted the turbos off the manifold. Now I've just got to remove them off the manifold itself. So this might be a little struggle for me. Let's see how we go. Seems like the whole manifold wants to go with it, not just the turbos. Yeah, she's stuck in there, I think. He's used the wrong type of gasket maker and he's used bloody Celastic instead. Like an idiot. Alright, I'll take manifolds off as one piece with the turbos in. Of course, the nut has seized onto the manifold stud. I've already had one of them. You can see it right there. I've got a cover and a dipstick hole. This is going to be number 2 stud. Great. Unfortunately. I'll have to put it over here. Hopefully there's no more I have to deal with. That's looking loose. That's looking more than loose. That looks like... Oh. Another manifold stud. Great. Let's see how many I take out. This nut wants to seize, but I'm not letting it. Alright, got that one off too. Yay, finally got it off. Alright, let's try and get these turbos off. This time. Oh, there we go. Manifold move. Oh, don't. Where should it go? Oh. That's why. It's blocked against the manifold, the oil drain. This sucks straight out. And of course, oh god, managed to get it all off. As you can see, the crappy goo he used caused a real problem to get it off, but I managed to get it off there. So, as we go here to the car itself, you can see here where it has the oil feed and return line. I'm not sure if it's that bent. I can't really see too well in this light. I'm going to have to use a flashlight. But that was my major concern. So I'm not too sure whether it's going to stay like this or whether I'm going to put twin returns straight onto there. Because you can see there, the feed is my worry from the block, but the return, it's like, I don't know if that was damaged or not. I'm going to have to look at this in more detail, but at least I can pop this off now. But yeah, you can see the rest of the manifold side, and you see how many manifold studs I'm missing now. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I might remove the rest of them and get a whole new set of manifold studs and nuts, and that'll be one less problem on it. But now that I've got access to it, we can actually have a look at things like the ports here. Now, they're actually quite good. They're not rusted or crusted at all. So I've got away with that. It's just all surface crust. Whew. Thank God I filled this motor years ago with the oil. So I'm having a look at these manifold ports, and I've realised that the middle two of both sides here are actually smaller than the outer ones. So you can see 1 and 3 there, 4 and 6 are bigger than 2 and 5. And when I come over to the gasket here, and I'll show you why. On the width, this particular one is 4 millimeters shorter than these two. The heights are the same, they're all 28 mil, but that one's only 35 wide, and then both of these are 39 wide. So that tells me I need a 1.5 inch pipe there, and 1 5/8 pipes there. And it should be alright to make a split pulse using those. So if I do 1, 3 and 5 from the other flange, and then 2, 4 and 6 from the other one, and I can have them sort of crisscross from each other. So my whole plan here, and I'm going to put you guys down for a second, so I hope this does not fall. Have fun with this. So I'm going to grab my collectors here. So you guys are staying there, and I need both hands. Alright, so with these collectors here, you can see they're 3 into 1 here. Okay, so you got the 1, 2 and 3, same with that one. So what I want to do is have it so 2 and 5 go into these front pipes right here. So then 1, 3, 4 and 6 can go to the back ones. And when I put it in like that, I'm just going to keep it up like this just so you guys can see. But I sort of want to have it where this one is right in the middle of it. Now, I don't know how high or low I'm going to have it. I mean, obviously it's going to be right down. But the more I have it down and have it in the center, and same with the other side, the easier it's going to be for me to make the manifold. So, if I can work that out, where I'm going to locate these two collectors, I can then work out the length of the pipes that are going to go to them. But I needed to know how big the holes were so I can order the right size pipes. So obviously that one's going to be 1.5 in the middle, 1 5/8 on those ones, and then they'll merge up into these pipes. So these two are 1 5/8, so same with those, but I'm going to have to do a little step up from 1.5 to 1 5/8 for these two. So yeah, that'll go from 1.5 to 1 5/8 into these collectors. The other 4 pipes will go straight into it, no worries about it. And then on the other side, put that together. And one little issue I've discovered here, let's show you guys. Here's my flange. One of these things is not like the others. Unfortunately, JS did the T25 flange a bit too wide. I've already measured it, they're about 53 mil, and a T25 flange is just over 49 mils. So I might have to do a step from that up into the flange here, so it's going to be a little little reducer to go from 1 7/8 here up to 2 1/4 inch, which I think will cover that entire square. So yeah, little hiccups, nothing too dramatic, but at least I know what direction I'm heading. So I've got the collectors here on a plank of wood, and I'm trying to work out the runners. Now, I've had an idea before I started doing all this. I thought, alright, I can go banana, 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 and the 2 cross pipes. Problem with that is, as you can see here on cylinder number 1, the proximity to the water pump. Now, I don't know how bad it was when it was from factory, but for this new design, I don't want to boil this. I don't want the coolant to boil up because of the exhaust heat. So my number 1 thought at the moment is to get this runner, and same with that, and actually have them crisscross each other. So have it go, instead of down like a banana to there, and same with that, what I'm thinking now is to go up from the manifold. So I go up and then down, and I'm going to feed this cylinder over onto this runner and that cylinder over to this runner. Now I've still got the same idea of having cylinder 5 come to the front pipe here, so there's no problems there, but my main concern was having 1 and 3 together and having an equal length. So what I've got to do is measure up the distance from cylinder 5 to the front runner, and I can work out how much pipe I need for a maximum length, and then I can tune these particular runners to be a similar length to these 2 center cylinders. So let's get a tape measure and we'll see what we can get. Alright, so we've got the tape measure over here, and we can clearly see just through the hole in here, it's right around 300 millimeters. So that will be pretty much the maximum length that I want to be going for each of these runners. So anywhere between 30 and 40 centimeters would be perfect. Obviously you've got to include the bending because this is a straight path, and obviously when you bend pipe you lose length. So if I'm going to be bending it 45, actually not 45, 90 that way, and then 90 again upwards into these runners, that's going to be pretty much the same distance as what this will be. Now, from my perspective, I'm just going to give you guys a clear rundown, and I'm sorry I'm talking so much on this. This is really important when you're in design phase, when you're trying to brainstorm and work something out so you can actually make this properly for yourself. So measurements and everything else are included, and a lot of boring math stuff, but at least you guys get an idea of what's involved in making your own custom manifold here. And I'm not saying this just to be cute or anything. The reason why I want this the way it is because when you've got everything matched to each other and split pulse, you're able to maximize the exhaust flow into each turbo. So between the pipe diameter and making sure that it's gone from 1 5/8 to 1 3/4, and also making sure that the lengths of each of the runners are pretty much identical to each other, like give or take a centimeter or 2, and make sure that they don't interfere with each other or cause any other restrictions for the cold side pipes or anything else like dumps, you name it. There's so many things that go into designing an exhaust manifold that when you sit there and brainstorm it and you've got this visualization, and then when you're actually trying to put the theory into practice and what you visualize isn't what you see there in the engine bay, you sort of got to be creative and work out what other directions and what other solutions are available for it. So if you don't have these solutions and possibilities, there's not much you can do to proceed with making your own manifold. One of the other things I'm doing here is trying to work out turbo location and how big the turbo will be in consideration to the space that I have here in the engine bay. So you can see my stock CT12A there resting on top of the motor, and you can see it just above the cowling. And so when I drop the bonnet here, and I'm going to show you guys, you drop it down and it hits, but it is close. So yeah, when I know I've got that close to go anyway, all I have to do now is work out how far away that was with the bonnet closing. So that gap to down here to where it was latching, just going to measure that up and give myself an extra 10 or 20 mil, and then I can take that off what that is and the location and work out where the perfect spot will be. I'd like to have it really high mounted, like not extremely stupid like you're popping out the bonnet, but to be honest, I'd like to have these collectors a little bit higher. So if I had it almost, yeah, I'd say about that with the flange on and then with the turbo on, it'll be above the motor itself, but it'll probably be about to there above the motor, which should be more than enough space for me to then close the bonnet down over it and have no real problems. My only other issue now is to work out a dump pipe. So I'll get to more brainstorming and searching that out. But in the meantime, let's start taking off this intake, and I've got some tricks and tips from a long time ago that I'm going to try and revive and see if it works. So it's almost a week later from when I last spoke to you guys, and there's 3 reasons for that. Number one is, I don't know if you guys have been noticing around your local areas, but this whole, what's the way I can put it, human defect situation is the best way I can put it, where we're all copping this thing and we're all being defected and being taken out. So we're all isolated at the moment one way or another. But because of that, that's number one reason. Number two, because of that, I've had to run around all week getting supplies for the family. No, I'm good for toilet paper, so that's fine. And number three, because I've been run around, it hasn't given me much time to work on Crustida. But I've been doing bit by bit here and there. And I explained this on the Overtaking Lane live show on Thursday night. So let me show you guys who didn't watch that show what's been going on. So on the intake here, you can see a lot of blue bits of sticky tape. And it's because I'm labeling every single piece I've got to take apart or take off this intake. So, for example, here I've got both the throttle cables disconnected right now. So you can see them just there. And then I've got it labeled so I know which direction it's going to be. So that one's the left side, that one's the right side. and you can see there's a bit of writing on there to tell me what it's actually for. And then the cruise control unit over to there, vacuum relay, then another vacuum that I've taken off here, and yeah, another hose there. So I'm going through this slowly but surely. And then also, as I noticed in the Trollvo episode, and I will say thank you, Scotty, for this, because I've gone back to that episode probably a dozen times just to make sure that I'm doing the right thing and not screwing this up. But as you can see here, I've been taking off these sensors. So you can see map sensor, TPS, idle air control, and they're all just unplugged. But the big thing is I've been able to take them off without breaking them. And that is something I can say is very difficult to do, because 30-year-old connectors, you can feel the brittleness in every connection that's on the car, and you don't want to break any of them. So I've still got a couple left. You've got the one here, you've got the one back here, and I think there is one or two more hiding down here with the wiring, but we'll get to that as we take things off. And as you can see here, the igniter box to there, disconnected that as well. So the only things I've got to do now, take off the throttle stopper on this side. So I've just got to take this bracket and start taking this off bit by bit. This has been more effort than I expect. So yeah, I apologise I'm talking like this, but I'm just showing you guys what's going on. Alright, so I've got a screwdriver here. I'm just going to take these sensors off and bag them up. I've got some bags over here. So what I'm going to do is quickly take these off and bag them up, and piece by piece it'll start freeing everything up. No, don't you dare. Oh, undoing 30-year-old bolts sucks. And 30-year-old screws suck just as much. Shorter on these ones. What are they? What small ones? How is it? I swear the others have pinched this. Oh, I found one of Poppy's ones. Can't find my ones. I think the wife's been using them upstairs. No, what's... Oh, don't do this. The only chance I've got here is to use a 6mm spanner. Too small? Let's double check. Yeah, 6 too small. So let's go 8. Let's double check. Yeah. Okay, that seems like it's right. There we go. There's more than one way to skin a cat. Get my bag, and that way I don't lose anything. The easiest way to do this myself, right under and around, so then I've got nothing to fall. There we go. As you can see, bag is straight over the sensor there. I'll show you guys a bit close up. So you can see it straight over the sensor here. And all I have to do is just take the screws off and we should be good. See, I'm always thinking of you guys, try and do this in one take and not mess around. That's when I'm filming, of course, but you know, sometimes life throws curveballs at you, like this human defect situation. And I hope all of you are keeping yourselves safe and secure with your loved ones right now. I know I am. I'm doing everything I can. I mean, look at it from my perspective. I've got a pregnant wife, I've got 3 old people that are living in my house, so the last thing I need is for me to get sick. Make sure I've got that screw good. See, the bad thing with this is I don't even know if there's gaskets or any other things that are bonding this sensor to the intake. So this is all guesswork for me. Others have more knowledge. I'm not that guy. I bet everyone that's facing me in the trivia right now is going, yeah, right, Marv. So, as I'm going along, I'm just going around corner to corner, making sure I take a little bit off at a time. This one's pretty much ready to come off. So, just to make sure this one. This one needs more. So I'm going to keep the bag like that. I'm going to show you guys what's up. As you can see here, it actually comes as one piece like that. So I thought it was going to be just the plastic. I didn't realise the metal plate was going to come off. And you can see the screws straight in there. So I'll get the rest of this off, and yeah, we'll continue with the rest of these things. Just take this last screw off. Oh, there's something there. It's stopping me. I think I can't feel it, but there is something stopping me, definitely. It's the bottom bolt, which I thought I took off. Felt like it, looked like it. Okay, pop that off. And there is one sensor. Whoop, don't lose the bolt. There we go. Let's go. Now I've got 3 more here. I'm going to try and get off. Oh, far out. Oh! You literally saw the dust crack then. Okay, one. Try this one. Oh, come on. Doesn't want to turn this one. The dust is too strong. The crust is too much. Oh, what about this one? Probably not. Oh, hell no. Yeah, that one definitely don't want no part of it. Ooh. Not good. And with this one, I don't think I can put the 8mm over to try and break it. Because they look like straight round ones. Yep. Well, maybe not. Try 6. No, it's definitely 8. No, it's definitely a rounded one. It's not like these ones where it was a 6 point. Ooh, okay. That's not fun. I'm gonna have to go get some WD-40. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go get some WD-40. Soak these things and hope that I can crack these in a later moment. Because yeah, this is not looking too good for me at the moment. I knew it was going to give me some issues, I didn't realise how much. So while I've been working on this, I made a little boo-boo. So I was taking the intercooler pipe off here, and we wound up with a big spill here, along with a whole heap of rust, aka weight reduction. So here is your cheap solution to getting an oil spill kit. I'll get it right. Oil spill kit. Good old breadcrumbs. You can pick these up for cents and $1. I paid $1.55 for this, but watch. So we got the bag opened here. We've got the oil there. All over it. Okay? Don't be shy. Just all over it. Almost half a pack there. Now, you've got that there. What you do, get whatever was sitting in that area and getting soaked, like this socket here. See, it's soaked in the oil because it sat there for a minute or two. But we just wipe that around. See, wipe that around, put it over. Okay, we'll just put that to the side, and then for the rest of this, we brush it over and we mix it in, and this stuff will lift, believe it or not. See? So don't bother spending $20, $30 going to get your spill kits, ladies and gentlemen. Just go to your local supermarket, grab some breadcrumbs, mix it in, and as you can see, it's getting nice and brown there. You just keep shifting it. See, big spill, pretty much gone. Look at that. Look at that. Just a small little bit there, which we can clean up quite easily with just a bit of CT18. What a transformation. See? All good. And another good thing about this is while you leave it there, extra oil can fall on top of it and it just sits there and soaks. And look, turns in little clumps. It's like having your own car version of kitty litter. Alright, we've finally got the throttle body off. Not without cutting a couple of little hoses. And I don't know why that one was blocked off, but yeah, I had to cut those off. No matter, I'm changing all these lines over here anyway, so everything from here back is gonna be replaced with braided line, so we won't have any worries about rubber BS anymore. So now that I've done that, let's get the rest of this off, and hopefully I can get to the next stage, which is taking this goddamn manifold off and starting to port it and clean it out. Okay, so we've got the pipe moved out as much as possible. I've got it right up against the fan belt here, and it's jammed up here in the corner. So we are going to cut along this section here, and since we're in an engine bay and we've got all these cut hoses from when I took the throttle body off, I am not using an angle grinder in here. All it takes is a couple of sparks to go down those holes and the car's going to go woof and burn itself to the ground. So my solution to that, let's get one of these renovators, and once again, good old XU1 comes to the rescue at Bunnings. This one cost me $30, which is about $20 US at the moment, depending on how our shitty dollar goes. But what I'm going to do, we're going to go straight down here, cut it off, and then I'll be able to take it off in two sections and we can redesign the intercooler piping up into the throttle body there. Alright, there's the pipe all cut off and removed. You can see, I just cut it right there. So she's gone. So there you have it. That is pretty much the whole disassembly of the turbos and the intake. A couple of clips left, but I'm gonna do that in between this episode and the start of the next episode. So when you start watching the next episode, you'll see most of that taken off, and we will start porting the manifold and getting everything else organized. Anyway, guys, this has been the Maf Garage. I'll see you guys next time. Don't forget to do the usual things. Smash like, smash subscribe, hit some comments. Let me know what you think, you know. I'm always open to suggestions. Whether it's good or bad, I take it all on board. It's just whether I use your good or bad suggestion, we don't know. Anyway, guys, peace.
Feels like inside, it feels like it's trying to punch it away or something.